So I stepped out of the shower yesterday and I'm all like, so this isn't quite the unboxing that I was expecting to have at this point. I decided to take a risk and try to import something from Japan because, like, I'm gaining a little more confidence in packaging, shipping across the United States. I'm like, okay, I'll take a risk and ship something from Japan. Um, and it had tracking on it, and I noticed it was just sitting in Tokyo. Now the store that I ordered from had already sent it, and like they verified, yeah, it's on the way, it's on the way. But I noticed that it hadn't moved from Tokyo in like 5 days. It's just sitting there, sitting there, sitting there, sitting there, sitting there from the updates. I'm like, what's going on? Then came this big old announcement that Japan Post is suspending all EMS shipping to the United States from Japan. I'm like, oh God, my package is going to be sitting there until the end of the pandemic. So, I guess somebody's trying to tell me something. They really, really, really don't want me to get that thing. So that's about the best I can give on that update. So it sucks. It really sucks because I was actually looking forward to that one. So, but in the meantime, I've got a not import that I can work on, which actually cost me quite a bit more money than I was originally planning on spending for something like this. Mostly because I got suckered into buying an additional separate accessory. So first up is Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Ironworks. Ironworks is a reference to a Micromaster playset that happened during G1, which I wish I'd gotten that thing. I really, really wanted that thing. Although nowadays I'm like, why does it have a windmill on it? Anyways, this is the updated version, so let's crack into it. I actually had part of a Micromaster team, and they were like the military assault Micromaster team or whatever it was. And then I actually had two Micromaster bases. The first one was some sort of an air park of some kind that transformed into a missile launching turret, which is weird because the packaging back in the day, or at least the promotional materials, showed that it had wheels on the side that would flip down. But for whatever reason, the one that I had didn't have wheels on it. So, anyways, it's not a missile launching tank, but rather just a missile launching turret that shoots tomahawks. And even then, it doesn't shoot the tomahawks. You actually have to unpeg them and then just throw them at your friend or something like that. So there was that one. And then the other one that I had was a Decepticon helicopter. It transformed into a base, which I totally can't think of the name of either one of those right now. But yeah, that's all I ever had in terms of Micromasters. Micromasters were fun, okay, whatever. So I found out that the not as of recording, but they're going to be releasing an Earthrise version of the Autobot airfield. I'm like, oh yes, I want to get that thing. I love how kind of flat his head is, kind of flat, and how really wide his shoulders are. I was like, oh, okay, I can get behind that. So yeah, look forward to that at some point in the future. Did I just crack the wrong seal? Yeah, I did. I'm dumb. Okay. Pandemics do that to you. My sleep schedule is still hell right now, so ugh, can't get a decent night's sleep. And I'm taking really long naps during the day. Just it's completely throwing me off. And the weird thing about it is this was before the state of Washington went into quarantine, where I started having the sleeping problems. So my natural rhythms have all been thrown off since the pandemic, although it had nothing to do with the pandemic, I think. I really hope they changed the instruction, but why would they tape the thing to the? Oh, what is that? Oh, tech spec decoder. I forgot they had those. I'll just leave that in there. And an additional piece of paperwork. What is this? Warning: choking hazard parts not for children under 3 years. And holy shit, there's a lot of languages on this. I also know I usually don't talk about the box, but there's a shit ton of warnings here in like I think it'd be safe to say 20 languages right here. It just says, contains small parts not for children under the age of 3. And then the exact same thing is said right here. So it's like, what is this, Europe all of a sudden? Come on. Hasbro, we don't need that. I guess this is so that they can market it to an international market without actually having to change the packaging each time. Why do we need a tech spec decoder? Oh, I forgot there's a thing on the Oh, it's right there in front of me. Is there anything else on the box? It's kind of a thing they've been doing where there's like a hidden description or hidden detailing or whatever it is on the box. At least they were doing that with the Siege line, but for Earthrise, um, tech spec decoder. I don't think I ever had one of those. Because like I got my start in G2 and Beast Wars, not G1 when tech spec decoders were still the rage. So I missed that whole thing. Late to the party yet again. God, this tape is really long for what it needs to hold into place. Hasbro, for crying out loud. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. You're wasting your resources. But then I'm the one who has to pay for it, so I guess I should do have the right to complain. Okay, they've got 2 layers of tape here. Why? This piece of plastic, the wrapping is going to be useless to me now. It's just going to, for fuck's sake. They could have added like an interesting little like a grip on it, or make it bigger in some areas than others. That's what they could have done. I wonder if you guys will be able to see it. Let's see if we can figure this out together. So, although you're probably not going to be able to read it, so yeah, the red lines on there, because you see they're kind of hidden there, and then you can see the lines pointed out, and it says Velocitron. Yeah, that's all it says. It's a couple of lines pointing to this one planet, and the planet description is Velocitron, and then right above it is Cybertronian text or glyphs. So, okay. So I'll just let that sit there, and I will promptly lose the tech spec decoder. So that church prize video was 2 hours long. I tried to trim it down as far as I possibly could, but like the thing about these reactions is they're my initial reactions, my opinions and feelings on the matter in the heat of the moment. But like I had a lot to say about the church prize, and if it hadn't had so many paint errors on it, both stuff that's missing and stuff that was misplaced, or whatever, maybe it wouldn't have gone for as long as it did. But I mean, still 2 hours. That just and that's I was trimming down most. I trimmed down most of the hawing and the humming and the talking to myself and stuff like that. But like, you still like it's kind of a dilemma where like if I trim this because it's redundant and you know, I could trim stuff that's redundant, like I talk about it earlier on, but then the problem is that if I trim the redundancy, when I make a reference back to it later in the video, it's like, oh yeah, he was talking. What are you talking about? Because you're referencing something that you haven't even shown yet. So it creates confusion for you. So it's either, believe it or not, raw unedited. It was 2 hours 15 or 16 minutes for the church prize video, and I trimmed it down to two. I think it was 2:05. So I did, I trimmed it down as far as I could, but the shuttles video went longer than I thought it would too. I thought it would be only 45 minutes, but it was just over 1 hour. So we have a little fire hydrant thingy, I guess, has 2 pins on it, so I'm guessing it comes apart. It does come apart. It's nice they paint the gun, I should point out. They painted the pair of guns. That's nice. And then I'm guessing it goes in that way too. It does, but it doesn't look very good. Let's try it the other way. Yeah, so you can put it in backwards. All right. Whatever. And then Ironworks himself. Hello, Ironworks. How are you? I'm Ava. Ava, Ironworks. Nice to meet you. And that's a heck of a waist swivel. Oh wow, it's not even a waist swivel. It actually pivots behind his butt, so his pelvis actually isn't attached to his waist. It's pinned into the back of his. Okay. Oh, the hips ratchet forward and backwards, but not outwards. Okay. The elbows are. Wait, really? Pivots there, but not there, really? Nah, it's got to do better than. There we go. Wait, do they have a ratchet on a friction joint? Really? Why? I like how he kind of has a gun. I mean, it's a connection peg, but he has a gun, or there's a peg underneath his left hand. It's nice. Does this extend? No, but it does rotate. Okay. Oh, that's probably why. Okay. Mono Y on an Autobot, or visor on an Autobot. Interesting choice. And toe articulation. He's got ankle pivot to this out or to the inside, and that's it. Does this turn all the way? Yes, they do. Okay. That came off real easily. That's disconcerting. Didn't take much pressure to get that hip to disconnect from the thigh. And the knees can go all the way because they're nice and hollow behind the thighs. So, nice. It's nice to see a deliberately industrial bot, as it were. It's nice to see. Yeah. It's hard to believe I paid $25 for this. And this is a deluxe figure, by the way. At least I think it was $25. It was ridiculously expensive. I remember that. Wow. Okay, so my concerns have been alleviated. I do not have to worry about reading the instructions. Good. It's about time. Of course, I suppose if this was a Decepticon, it would be purple on gray on black on white background or something like that, which would totally ruin it. So, and yes, for the record, he is indeed a parts former. Oh, it says you can assemble him in a bunch of different ways. That's interesting. And he also turns into armor for other deluxe class figures. That I did not know, because the example shown here is Wheeljack. Now I need to get a Wheeljack figure so I can attach this to him. Okay, let's get to it. Now, because this is a parts warmer and I ultimately don't know what the combined form looks like, I'm gonna need to use the instructions at this point, because, well, what does he turn into? You know? Said everybody who ever criticized Bayformers. Just saying. This is ridiculous how much his hips sway back and forth. And again, they're not pivoting on a waist joint, they're pivoting on a butt crack joint. Is that what that is? That's what that is. So, okay. Friction pins, that has me concerned. Wait, does his elbow come apart? Okay, can I even pull this apart again? Oh my god. What the hell? I'm trying to decide if that... The yellow paint looks like... I mean, it has been... what's the word I'm looking for? The yellow paint has been... It's splotchy. Like it wasn't evenly coated, which ordinarily I would complain about that. However, this guy is supposed to be kind of an industrial looking thing, so maybe that's supposed to be deliberate weathering by way of deliberately not painting it properly. You know, it's still going to be yellow, it's still coated all the way around. By the way, why didn't they just mold the pieces in yellow? You know, that would have saved them some paint. Anyways, so alright, so I'll just put this back together again. So this is the thing that they do with Earthrise, is they've got these connecting, I think that's called the A.I.R lock system, which is an acronym for that. Anyways, you got the A.I.R lock system and you plug different whatchamacallits into here. In fact, I can demonstrate it right here. Assuming it lets me. There. Which is very much what Micromaster bases did back in the days of G1. So, yay. It's kind of a shame they didn't tie it up with the whatchamacallit, the Titans Returns figures. They all had the ability to connect all the bases together or whatever it is, so I kind of wish they'd done that. Flip the head around and fold the head back. Okay. Okay. and he was never able to pull his head up ever again. That click was significant. Oh, come on. That's too. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay. So here's the opportunity for me to show off the waist. You can see how it swivels. And it's not on a rubber band or anything like that. It's held strictly with friction. So that's how he turns his waist. Which is it's a different way of doing that, I suppose. How am I going to get those thighs out of there? How do I get those out of there? Oh, God. Oh, God. How do I get his thighs out? No, don't do this to me. No. Okay, if I move these, can I get to the thighs again? And the answer is no, I cannot. Okay, if I fold those in there, they're never coming out ever again. I doubt that even kids would be able to get these thighs out of here. They click into position. Why? I'm never gonna be. I'm not gonna be able to get his thighs out of there ever. He's permanently stuck in this base mode now. Okay, well, it was nice while it lasted. Okay, so now we got both legs, a crane, a thing, a ramp, another ramp, and his chest, torso stuff. Okay, so I liked most of the MicroMaster bases from G1, although it'd be a pain in the ass to try and get them nowadays. So it'd be a pain in the ass to get this thing back together again. So now we're using the airlock system to plug the lower torso and hips, or the pelvis and hips, into. I think it's the left arm. Wow, that's really hard to get in there. Jesus. God, that. Okay. I'm so totally not going to remember which order these go in. Presumably, because these are all made in blocks and parts formers and things like that, you'll be able to kind of put these together however you like. So, attach the back half of the gun to the underside where that used to be. God, if I'd known this guy was attaches to wheeljack, I would have bought wheeljack instead of those two. Just saying. And the other one goes aside. Really, it pegs into two positions at once. Really? I wish you had. I wish you would have had me peg that in there before I put that in there. Would have made things easier. You know that whole ranting thing I did about Ryu Soldier last year? Was it Kishiryu Sentai Ryu Soldier in 2019, where I said parts forming and blah blah blah? Well, the reason it works here is because it's. I mean, yeah, I mean it's. I didn't remember that it's all involves parts forming, but what makes it work is that this is also armor. is that is that this is also armor for other deluxe class figures. So having it be a parts former does make sense in that regard. Take the ramp and attach it. And I apologize you guys aren't getting a good view right now, but you're just going to have to live with it because it is kind of small. All you're really going to see is my hands. How the hell am I supposed to get that out of there? There's the tiny, not tiny peg, but there's a peg in the center of his chest. How do I get that out of there? Hasbro, how do I get that out of there? So you have to flip up the peg that you attach the crane to, which is in the middle of the chest. That's right there, and there's a little peg right there that you fold upwards, but there's nowhere for you to grab onto it when it's folded up. You know, the more I think about it, the more I realize, yeah, you were right about, or I was right about, they deliberately painted the yellow in such a way that it looks splotchy. They did that on purpose. So, okay. And there is Ironworks in his, well, Ironworks form, which barely looks anything at all like like what his G1 self looked like. Although to be fair, the G1 version didn't have a robot mode of its own. It was a MicroMaster base. So whatever. Here's half of the guns just sitting there hanging out, giving it some support. And then the crane arm is on a peg, and it does go up and down. Oh, does that? I thought they wanted me to fold that up. No, they did not. Okay. And then the crane arm can turn side to side, but it does not extend. Does it? Nope, it just comes off. Eh. Okay. That's weird. First time I pulled that, it. Okay. And then there's a little ramp right here. Okay. That's nice. That's an interesting way to, and it's not symmetrical. That's the interesting thing about it. Except for the legs, which are in the front here, this is not a symmetrical build. That's kind of an interesting way of doing it too. But of course, it's a building. It's a structure. It's not meant to move. It's not a vehicle. So I guess it does make sense that it wouldn't have it wouldn't be symmetrical. One side looking the same as the other. So, dude, all of a sudden I got Command and Conquer on the brain. Man, I miss Command and Conquer. I really do. I only ever played the first game. I wanted to play Red Alert, or no, that's not true. I demoed Red Alert 1, but I never. I missed out on a lot of Command and Conquer. I missed out on that whole thing, unfortunately. So that was one of the first like video games that I had of my own. Somebody gave me a demo of like the first 5 or 6 missions of Command and Conquer, and it was only the what were they called? The GDI. It was only the GDI side of the fighting. So, but there was no option for multiplayer. So, that was the best I could do. Dude, now I want to play Command and Conquer. I thought it had kind of a alternate base mode. No, I guess it doesn't. Okay, all right. Well, I guess that's it. But it does show here you can also make a bridge with it. So I guess I could do that, because why not? So it's not a complete form, and it doesn't use up all the parts. By the way, I'm never gonna remember how to put this back together. Just saying. So we're gonna use the airlock system on the side there. I guess they're trying to show you that. Well, let's see. Now I need to get a wheeljack figure. Do I have a wheeljack? Yeah, I've got Generations wheeljack, which was technically a repaint. So yeah, I got wheeljack. So apparently you can make a bridge of some kind. Let's see. Let's straighten this out. So yeah, you can make a bridge. Of course, if it were sitting on the ground, it wouldn't be falling over as much. So yeah, you can make a bridge. You can attach other things too. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now let's see if I can actually put this thing back together to the way it was just 2 minutes ago. Parts formers. Asymmetrical parts formers at that. Get that music from Command and Conquer stuck in my head now. I guess all I have to do is remember that the left arm pegs into the knee guards of both knees. If I can remember that part, then I can kind of remember what else needs to be done. So that should help me out. Trying to see if I can do it from memory now. Gosh, that's hard to get in there. I'm under the impression they designed these not just so they could separate to become armor for whatever bot you want to attach it to, but also you can kind of sort of change whichever configuration of the building of the parts, so you can change it into different types of buildings. Maybe that's what they were aiming for. Be kind of nice if they had it instead of being just like an industrial whatever it is. I kind of wish it had the windmill of the G1 version, but oh well. I guess a windmill is too old-fashioned. So, or maybe it's too eco-friendly. Maybe that's what it is. Not sure. Okay, so there's Earthworks, and then I noticed on the back of the box that there were a pair of Micromasters, not Minicons, but Micromasters. But, you kind of look at the front of the box, it's like, where are they, where are they, where are they, where are they? And then I noticed, oh, there's individual labels on the thing. You have to buy them separately. I mean, there was a time when Micromasters you used to be able to buy them. Like, yeah, you had, 4 packs and 6 packs or whatever it is of Micromasters, but the bases themselves would come with at least one Micromaster. So in this case, it's just a building. Which, to be fair, um, a transformer turning into a building. How often do you see that outside of G1? I mean, really, think about it. I mean, did you ever see a Bayformer transform into a turret or transform into a, well, yeah, mobile turret? Because like there was Mixmaster, but I mean, like a real building, like disguised as a human-made building. That's what I'm talking about. It's on the back here. So, anyways, they decided to milk an extra $12 out of me, so I bought a 2 pack of Micromasters. And the Micromasters featured here are the ones that are specifically listed for Ironworks. I didn't have to, but they were right next to it on the shelf. I'm like, okay, why not? Of course, it makes no sense whatsoever to have a pair of race cars going with an industrial complex. I'm just saying. But it's not like Transformers would ever give us like a. I would love to see a Bayformer in the guise of a combine for farming. A farming combine. I'd love to see a Bayformer do that. It's just like one of the most unassuming things, but it's kind of like a monstrous ball of a thing. That'd be great. I've got that Commander Conquer theme going through my head now. I did a quick check at TF Wiki before I started recording, and these are 2 Micromasters that are a recreation of 2 Micromasters from, hey, guess what, G1. So, and they are Trip Up and Autobot Daddy-O. Although, or as he was originally referred to in G1, Big Daddy. At least I think that's what he was called. It's nice to see Micromasters that are of actual Micromaster size, as opposed to the Titan Masters we had, which were, kind of the complete opposite of good. They were so tiny, they got lost real easily, they got stepped on real easily. Just Titan Masters. Speaking of Titan Masters, what's it called? Titan class Scorponok was just announced. Woo! Looking forward to that. Not sure about the colors. Maybe I should wait for like a black Zarak repaint of him. Maybe that's what I should do, but there's a peg right there. It makes me think these guys are... These guys... Man, I really, really wish I'd known about Wheeljack. Not because he was there in the store. I can't remember if he was in the store at the same time. But, like, if he had been in the store, I would have gotten him instead of these 2. Just saying. Not that these 2 Micromasters would be the end of it. Oh, no, it's actually used for armor. Well, maybe if you look at the instructions, they'll give you a hint. No, I don't need the 20 language warnings again. Not meant for children under the age of 3. If these form weapons, I'm going to laugh. Yeah, they do form a weapon. Yeah, in this case, they're both promoted towards being part of Ironworks. So, dude, Trip Up, you're tripping over your own shoulders. WTH, shoulders are on a ball joint, but like, his arms will only go forward and backwards if they can get past his. Can they even? Okay. This plastic is really thin for him too. And he has a waist swivel. Why would you put a waist swivel on a Micromaster unless it's related to his transformation? Dude, this guy has shoulders bigger than an Ava unit, and that's fucking saying something. Yeah, he's got all that kibble sitting on the back there, so... We got frickin' sticks in back there. Jeez. Gosh, this plastic is so thin. He's got... Not only does he have a waist swivel for Micromaster, again, why? But his hips are ball joints. And they totally can't move because they bump up against the underside of his torso. Why even give him ball joints if he can't move his legs? Like, why? It's not the quality of the plastic. It's just how thin the plastic is. That's what worries me. God, it's so small. Wait, you want me to tab those into there? Why? You almost don't need those tabs to hold the nose together. You don't need tabs. It's a bit redundant, especially for something this small. It's not even gonna roll that well. So, anyways, here's Autobot Trip Up. Nice muscle car with the engine totally stacked, sticking out of the top there. So can't quite get the feet to line up at the back, but that's okay. Whatever. Why did I get these two? I don't want these. And Daddy-O is almost identical. He has the same shoulders. He has the same waist problem. He has the same shoulder problem. They're pretty much the same figure. So, like, the only way you can move his arms forward, their arms forward and backwards, is if they're perfectly parallel. But the problem is you have to unpeg them, which means you have to move them outwards like that, and then all of a sudden, oh, they can't move forward and backwards anymore. So it's like, and then they have kibble on their back. And Autobot Daddy-O's face is purple for some reason. So I looked at TF Wiki. They have the G1 versions listed, but they don't have these versions listed. Or no, they have them listed, but they don't have any pictures. So I'm gonna have to dig to find the picture. Well, maybe I can find them on Hasbro. So here's Daddy-O. Very nice. Very nice. If you get, or back in 2006, if you got I think it was a store exclusive downshift. There was a repaint of him that looked just like this. It's called Big Daddy. I don't want that version because I already have downshift. So whatever. Was it downshift? Yeah, it was downshift. One of the most glorious Transformers I've ever owned ever, even to this day. It's great. So here's Trip Up and Daddy-O. So there you go. And they exist. And they both have engine blocks for some reason. And then they have a combined form of sorts. Oh, look, there's the waist swivel. Oh, look, now I get to bend hips that totally can't bend because the plastic gets in the way. It's like they have hip joints, you just can't use them because the plastic of the hips, or the plastic of the thigh, bumps up against the underside of the torso. So you can't pose them. They won't let you. I don't understand why, but wait, can these guys attach to Minicon ports? Maybe. Looks like these guys can attach to Minicon ports. They're pretty darn close. Huh. Right. And there you have a quad barrel cannon. So I guess these are target masters as well. I guess that's what they're trying to go for here. Okay. So I'm never going to do that ever again. Although it is listed as an optional weapon. Oh! Oh, it's an optional weapon for Ironworks. Okay, all right, I can live with that, I suppose. I cannot get Trip Up to peg his feet into the back of the calves just for whatever reason. I can get it in, but as soon as I let go, they just pop out again. Oh, speaking of popping, I can actually take the peg on the bottom of one of these guys. So I'm going to take Ironworks. I'm going to peg Daddy-O. I can actually, take one of those and peg Daddy-O. Daddy-O? It's so strange having that come out of that phrase come out of my mouth. Like, what? So you can see Daddy-O is sitting there on Ironworks, and then the picture shows Trip Up coming down the ramp. So there you go. So Actually, the MicroMasters were $12, and Ironworks was $24, $25, something like that. So like this is like $30 right here, which not quite sure how I feel about that, but yeah. I will now attempt to put Ironworks back into his robot mode without the ability to unpeg his thighs from the back of his legs. Wish me luck. Here's the weird thing though, the instructions don't say anything at all about the ankle tilt. They don't say anything whatsoever, which you can actually get it down to 90 degrees. I mean, obviously you're going to tilt it a little bit for when Ironworks is by himself, but the instructions don't even bring up you can actually turn them completely sideways like that. Again, maybe it's to encourage combining stuff. So right now the thighs, because I heard it click when I put it in. I'm like, why? Why does it need to click? God, there's a pair of tabs on either side. Why? Hasbro, you don't need that. The knee has enough friction as it is, and that it's not a load bearing thing where this absolutely has to be pegged in as far as it can possibly go. You don't need, like, you knew that you didn't need a ratchet in the knee joint. You don't need to have a tab in there. That's kind of overkill. There's no kill like overkill, I suppose. Uh, So does it have to be wheeljack? I mean, like maybe the reason why they made it wheeljack is because they've got these two street racers, or these I guess these are muscle cars is what these are. Maybe that's why wheeljack is the recommended figure. I don't know. Hey, I got him back together. Yay! I'm really tempted to leave him with that belly boner right there. Leave it there just so I don't have to worry about folding that out every time. I don't know. So other bots that I would like to get, I'd like to get Skylinks, and I'd like to get that airport one that I mentioned earlier. I haven't looked too closely at all the figures that they have available, so. And then he's got a gun. Maybe attach the gun to the top of his crane arm, because it's not like it's going to be holding anything. Although, let's see if the crane hook can hold it. No, it cannot. That cannot hold it. That cannot hold it. That cannot hold it. So the only place I could stick it is up top. He's going to G1 Megatron up this ship by having a gun come out of his shoulder. Because why not? That looks so weird. Now, to be fair, I didn't get the Minicon weapons, back in the day from Armada or Energon or whatever it is. So, like, this is, I guess it would be Armada. And because there's a very, very inconvenient tab right there, which presses up against the side fender of Trip Up, he can't even hold the thing properly. GG. Why is that peg even there? Oh, that peg is there for those stupid clip-on explosion thingies. Not how I would have done it, but oh well. And there you go. There's I put the gun up there because I put his individual gun up there because I could. So there is Ironworks with Big Daddy and Trip Up. Let's see. This was $25 and this was $12. So it's like $37 right here. So, and that's not even including having to get wheeljack either. So I'll probably just order that one online. It's less of a hassle. Since I'm not going to be going shopping again or whatever it is for another 2 or 3 weeks. So it should be there. So, yep, there's Ironworks. Hooray! I totally got conned into getting these MicroMasters. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. So with that, this is AV Unit 4A saying. Okay, so I stopped recording like 3 minutes ago, and just like I did with Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Galactic Man Shockwave a couple of months ago, or was it last month? 2 months ago, month and a half ago, something like that. Whenever I did that, and yes, which I still have, and in which I do still enjoy. Just like I did with that one, where I finished cleaning up everything, and it's like, okay, I'm going to start editing the video. I looked at the official photograph, and oh, there's an extra mode in there. Well, it turns out Ironworks also has an extra mode, which is not included in the instructions, but there is a photo right here in front of me, and I'm going to figure out how to put this thing together without the instructions. But there's a picture right there, so whatever. Yeah, like I said, and this is going to be a bit more in line with. Oh, I totally put his thighs back in. This is going to be a bit more in line. It's so weird. You would think that this alternate mode would be included in the instructions. Suddenly hiccups. Because that's not hiccups, that's heartburn. What am I talking about? You would think that this would be included in the instructions because it's actually more reminiscent of his because Ironworks originally he had kind of a construction crane, and you had a vehicle and you could plug the things in together. There's a picture right over there, but then he also had an alternate mode which was like the battle station mode or whatever it is. Well, this didn't have a battle station mode, but the picture right here says, yeah, that's a battle station mode. So now here I am having to figure this out on my own. And we also unpeg. So yeah, I'm gonna have to break this down into the individual components again. Make the head disappear. The head was actually kind of hard to get twisted around once I changed him back to robot mode. So is that out of the way? Yes, it is. Okay, so everything's here, ready to go. Okay, so we've got the feet going like this, and the claw thingy goes. So the back of his torso plugs into the bottom of his thighs, or yeah, right, the bottom of his feet, like that. So there's a whole extra joint in there. I guess for this particular mode, it's not available. So okay, yes, it just sits down like that. Okay, so you take the arm and down like that. The panels that are attached, I should point out, the panels that are attached to the side of the legs do not come off. The panels on the back do, but the ones on the sides, the panels on the back of his torso, those do come off, but the panels on the sides of his shins, those do not come off. So if you pull them, you manage to pull them off, it means you've broken it. So, and then this just sits up on the top because it can. Almost wish there was like a helicopter, like a cargo helicopter or something like that, something to haul. I wish that had been recommended. Oh, I see what they did. Okay, so far so good. I have no idea if this is in focus because I can't see what the camera is showing right now. Yep, that's good. Okay, so here's the battle station mode. That's totally not in the instructions. And that turret, in case you haven't noticed, there is no friction whatsoever. By the way, that's the thigh joint that it's attached to right there, the thigh swivel. That's what that is right there, and you can see how loose. It can't even. Obviously, you're not meant to hold this up in the air. And the other thing is that because of the pelvis rotation, means this also tilts side to side as well. So you've got the crane arm leaning every direction you want, and then you've got this. Well, it's good to know it's there. I just wish it had been included in the instructions. Okay. And so with that, this is AV Unit 4A saying, May the 4th be with you. Oh, I made myself sad.